Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, my dear learners. I welcome you to English Grade 9 video lessons. I'm your instructor Zia Hamid. I hope that you're doing well and having a good time. So again, we are dealing with unit number 2 titled A Visionary Leader. And for this lesson, we are dealing with the competency of vocabulary, and this will be our lecture number 4. The topic is Proverbs. So let's get started by reading our SLO and understanding it. So our students' learning outcome for this lesson is comprehend and use contemporary idioms and proverbs in the different texts and in their speech. So as suggested, it's very easy. Let's break it down. Comprehend here means to understand, and we will also use the contemporary, the current, the ones that we use in our daily lives, idioms and proverbs in the different texts and in their speech. We are going to deal with proverbs in this lecture. We have dealt with idioms in the previous one. We will also see it in different texts. We will try to equip a skill of identifying, understanding and using proverbs in our different texts and also in our oral communication, in our speech. So this was our SLO. Let's get moving. Here we have a vertical linkage of this SLO with the previous one. They are the same SLOs, but in this lecture, in this grade, we will deal with them in detail. So this was our vertical linkage, and now for the Islamic perspective, we have a verse from the Holy Quran, from Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 153. It says, "O believers, seek comfort in the patience and prayers. Allah is truly with those who are patient." So, subhanallah, such a beautiful and encouraging verse from the Holy Quran. So, also, can we see a similarity? Yes. For understanding and encouraging others and ourselves about patience, to have patience, we have different proverbs. The one that you already know, you're familiar with, is patience is a virtue. It resonates with the Quranic teaching on sabr, to have patience, as we read. So this is repeatedly encouraged as a quality of the believers. Also in the verse that we read and another one. So we have so many different proverbs from the Quran also that encourages us, and they are beautiful sayings that people use. Allah also use them to make us understand what He is trying to say. So let's get moving now. For starting the lecture, we have an interesting pre-reading question for you. Can you think of any sayings or any proverbs your grandparents used to use? So what do you think people share proverbs with others? So you must have heard so many proverbs in Punjabi, in Urdu, in any of your native language, in your Urdu language also. So why do we share these proverbs? And you must have heard them, so many of them. Can you recall all of the proverbs, most of them that you've heard? I hope that you have understood the purpose of doing this pre-reading. Now let's us brainstorm about proverbs. Why do we use proverbs? What do they include? What do they contain? They have sayings that are meaningful. They are very fruitful, purposeful sayings and advices mostly. And we use them to beautify our language, to advise someone also. So after brainstorming, understanding about the idea of proverbs and using them, we have some proverbs here. So these proverbs are all wise sayings, wise intellectual sayings that offer life lessons. I mean, how should we lead our life? How should we lead our life in the best manner? So can you figure out their meanings? Pause the video, read these proverbs and try to find out, try to comprehend what do they actually mean and what message is being conveyed here. So I hope you'll have a great time doing this activity. So let's get started with our main topic, proverbs, by understanding the definition here. We have the definition: a proverb is a short saying or piece of folk wisdom, old traditional folk wisdom, that emerges from the general culture rather than being written by a single individual author. They are mostly passed and transformed person to person, and they were not mostly written. So proverbs often use metaphors or creative imagery to express a broader truth. Again, we have figurative language used here. The proverbs can include metaphors, similes, and most of the figurative speeches in it. They make it more beautiful and also easy to remember. So for example, from the text, let's see Quaid-e-Azam's leadership during the struggle for a separate nation for Muslims vividly exemplifies the proverb, fortune favors the bold. Fortune favors the bold. The one who has the courage of taking risk, who does the actual thing, is the one who's the most efficient and giving results. So let's see that proverbs are short, memorable sayings that express a general truth or lesson. Another point is they often use figurative language like metaphors, similes, and personification also. So proverbs are passed down through oral tradition, meaning they were originally spoken and not written. They were written later on. So they offer practical advice, moral principles that can be applied to everyday situations. This is the purpose of using proverbs, and we need to learn them also to give advices, be the best version ourselves, and to benefit others also. And you can use them orally and in written form. Difference between proverbs and idioms. Now, both these are used in the figurative language concept. So what's the difference between them? Let's see. Idioms are fixed phrases with a figurative meaning. For example, kick the bucket. Kick the bucket means to die. Proverbs are short sayings offering general advice. For example, early bird gets the worm. It means that you have to be proactive, you have to be active, then you will succeed. So this is the clear difference between idiom and proverb. Idioms are fixed, and proverbs are short sayings mostly containing advices. And as far as idioms are concerned, they're rarely of any advice. So after that, let's see that proverbs exist in cultures worldwide, reflecting diverse values and perspectives. They are used all over the world. You can find so many different proverbs from different cultures and the world, from every continent online. You can look them up. Some common themes include morality and ethics, hard work and perseverance, money and wealth, relationships and family. We have such themes that are very useful and they're very fruitful. So these are the basic themes of most of the proverbs. Let's say honesty is the best policy. We remember this very clearly. So this is also a proverb. Now let's look at some proverbs here. Let me read this one for you. All that glitters is not gold. So what does this mean? This proverb teaches us not to be fooled by appearances. Something that seems attractive or usable on the surface might not be as good as it looks or seems. So also, I want you to read number 2 and number 3 by yourselves and try to use them orally in your sentence. Come up with a sentence and discuss it with your fellow. So, talking about proverbs, do you somehow know about these proverbs? Despite their frequent arguments, Sarah knew she could always count on her sister. After all, blood is thicker than water. So this proverb, blood is thicker than water, is about family relationships are stronger than other relationships. So whenever we have a situation like this, we can use this already made proverb, this shortcut, in our speech or in the written work to sound more effective and efficient. History repeats itself. It means many historians believe that by studying past events, we can learn from mistakes and prevent history from repeating itself. This means that similar events can happen again in the future if you're not careful. So these are some of the most common proverbs. Now we have for you a simulation video for some additional information and some interesting information also. So I hope that you will enjoy listening to this video. So for classroom activity, we have exercises like these. So you can solve these in your class. So this will be your classroom activity. And now for further practice and putting the things that we learn and the theoretical concept into a practical one, you can solve this worksheet. I request the dear teachers, my fellow teachers, to distribute these worksheet among your students. And for homework, what do we have? We have these proverbs. Go through them one by one and try to enact a scene where you can use these proverbs in your dialogues to understand that how they are used, and try to be on the same context, and then you are good to go. You will understand that proverbs are important in our speech and in our conversations. So at the end, we have some resources for you added in the description of the video. We have worksheet, question bank, skill sheet, presentation, and a lesson plan. All these things are added for your further understanding. I hope that you have a great time learning about proverbs, how you can use them orally and in the written communication. Until the next video, this is your instructor Zia Hamid signing off. Allah Hafiz.